Oh man, I keep forgetting. What's the lady name again? I'm not good at
Yeah, it was my TV.
Yeah, they can check the stream now. Testing. This is a test of the stream. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Stream. We live. Live in Brooklyn, New York City, in the United States of America. We are live here in Brooklyn, New York, United States of America, planet Earth. This is a test. No one else can test. My test. We are live. Yes, so people in the world of YouTube and beyond, this is just a test. Can you just check the stream, please?
What? I don't have the link.
I'll give you the link.
Can you send it to me? Did you send it to me?
This is the same link yesterday. Was you the person I was talking to on the text message?
Yeah.
Yes, I was calling you.
What's your number again?
646 506 2068.
50 what?
646 506 2068. I'll just call you.
Yeah. Call me. Send the link. Should be. You send the link?
You see the text message? That's your phone?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, you can send it to everyone. That's the link there.
So you send the link.
You can type it in or you can copy it. That link there. You saw it?
Do they have Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
You saw it in the text
Read
message?
this. Oh, hold on. Here's read this. Yeah. So this is the link, right?
Can you look at the link?
Come on, look at it.
You see when you blow air conditioner, the computer's going to get hot in here. The computer is hot. It's close to it out. Don't.
I don't understand why it's hot. What, did the AC
Hey, just click on it and look at it. Go ahead.
YouTube?
Yeah.
I'm glad this is black people we're dealing with. There's nobody's going to do today.
Yeah, that's, you know.
So can you listen? Can you check it out?
No, it's not everybody.
Can you just go outside now?
I know it's hard.
Huh?
Can you go out to the room and listen to it?
Oh.
And you can share it with everybody. Look how we can share it too. Look.
Yeah, how do I
You know how to share it?
No, I don't.
Look, when you're on a live stream, right? If you're on a live stream, even a video, and you want to share with somebody, you do that? And then it shows you all the things to share.
Okay.
You
So
can
everybody
copy,
that's on
look, you know, if you click that, you copy a link and send it. But to me, I will do this. You can put it on Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to do. Or the same link in the text message.
Right.
Forward the text message. Do you know how to forward the text message?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Alright, but you can just go outside on the foot. Okay. This is a live. This will be a live broadcast. And this,
I need you to check my audio when I set it up.
yeah, but I'm gonna say, you see that fan? You like crazy audio if that fan still.
You feel it?
I don't want the audio would not be good if that fan on.
Oh, no, it won't. We have to turn it off.
Because unfortunately, I record like this minimum 3 times a week. So I'm nothing. They told me that in production, they say get a bad video, but don't have bad audio. Because lots of people doesn't pay attention to the picture as much, but they always listen to the audio. So
Now, I'm about to ask now. Should I mic just up him? I'm not going to mic everybody. I got the task cam over there.
okay, that's not going straight in the camera, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have a room mic. We don't have a intercom a mic for the room. I forgot that.
I should just mic up the moderator.
Oh no, you need to mic the people here too.
I only got 2 mics.
Oh, 2 mics. Okay. So this mic here is a.
That's a task cam.
Okay, so it will record.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need to mic up the.
I don't
So
need
you
to
record
mic
one
up-
channel. You go record him on one channel, and you go record this on one channel, right?
I don't know, which I should do, that's what I'm asking. I was going to do it like,
Oh, mixed it.
yeah, I'll do it on, I got the boom on channel, on audio input 2, and then I'm going to put him on audio 1.
Oh, okay. That's good, but because you have it over there, that's only. Oh, that's record. Sorry, that record is separate. I forgot. I was thinking like that going into the camera.
Yeah, that's separate.
Yeah. So that's the way to go.
So
yeah.
I should mic him though,
Oh yes.
the moderator.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm not ready.
I never did
My
it.
mind just simple. When you say that, I was thinking like that's
Oh.
into the camera.
Right.
Okay, wireless system here. Yeah. You just said you have to know how to mix it and editing, but that's the way to do it. Okay, so people getting a little behind the scenes. I'm just giving you all the behind the scenes for a while, right? Audio. I'm setting up. I need to change it. Anybody who's wondering why I haven't changed, I need to change the text. So how do you get a text to change? What text you gotta put for this video? I'm gonna forget this. What do I change the text? So this gotta be oh, we can change it to Diaspora. Live stream Diaspora. Is it Jamaica Diaspora Debate or Diaspora Debate? Oh, what's the title of this? Do you have a title for this?
Jamaica Diaspora Northeast
Oh, no.
USA elections. Jamaica, well,
Oh, so you have the paper you had there with the information, I can just copy it off here? Like
JDNE USA.
Okay, thank you.
That stands for Jamaica Diaspora.
And the document you was, I don't know, over here you speak about a document you had, did that have like more information about this?
Oh, information about it? No, because we just put this together like in 2 days.
Oh, so let me ask, the lady, she's in charge of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I should ask her to come and take over. What's her name again?
Joan Miller.
Okay. Jones.
Jones.
The Jones, can you come and just give me some, can you come and just type some information in for me, please?
You need some information.
Can you come and type some information
What do you mean?
for the live stream? Yes, sir. You see this here? Oh, is it okay with you? You okay type that?
No.
Oh, do you want to text me? I need some
You gotta show the
information for the
moderator.
stream. I need some information for the stream.
Yeah, you want to know the Jamaica Diaspora?
No, I just type in here. Like, okay, like what people looking at. You know, like
Okay.
like a
The Jamaica Diaspora Advisory Board
Okay.
election.
So you want-
You want us
Oh,
to type
you can
it?
just text me. Text me,
I
I can
said-
text me, I can send it.
You want me to text you what you need?
Text me, I send them. Text me a title for the video and I'll send them. You see, like when you're watching videos,
Yes.
a title will be like less than a title is less than 50 words. Less than 50 words, the title, and the description can be as long as you want.
Yeah, are you on your way? Okay. All right, so come on.
here, the third kid that's not here.
No, they're all here. 147. I work here, 147, and the door is open. I left the door kind of ajar. Yeah, okay.
I'll put you on the news and politics.
Yeah, you can. What is that? Which station? Is that
No,
a
this is
Jamaica?
not the stream. I
You
formed
want me
that
to ask
YouTube,
for the
so I
title?
have the, they give me the ability to streamline.
Ask Rev brought me, put the banner up.
Oh, I need a sentence, I need a title less than 50 words.
Miss Winslow? Miss Winslow?
Joan, ask Rev if I want me to put the banner up.
Can you help him for me? He's trying to find out what to, because he's doing a live
Okay.
stream.
Do you want to run stuff? Can you want to type in here? You know that you ever use YouTube? And you're okay, if you need a title for people to see, when people see them, that's not exactly what they're looking at.
Okay.
So when you need a title less than 50 words or less, here.
Yeah,
Can you
it's
type it in?
Jamaica Diaspora.
You need a title, you said?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what it was.
And,
It's like Jamaica Diaspora Northeast.
and then a description. Now
Advisory
listen,
board, debate. Advisory board member debate. Jamaica.
You just text me. Do you have my text message?
Yes.
Just text me. Okay. And tell me, I did a description. describing it a little.
Yeah.
Where's your light?
I have it here. You want to use it?
No, I'm gonna set up a bit,
Okay.
but I'm just seeing where you're gonna put yours.
I have it here, it's optional, right? So it's many different things you can do. Oh, you have more than one camera?
I don't know what the light look like yet.
I guess this is it.
Oh, yeah.
Into the bathroom.
Oh, you wanna go to the bedroom? Okay. Let's bring this back.
Yeah, it's all work for me.
Huh?
Good.
You good?
Yeah, just like, because I just manually zooming, right?
Well, I don't want no shadow.
Push it up.
But also you can do the light from the back, you don't need to go in the front. You answer? You can do the light all the way in the
I
back.
mean, mine's got an adjustment. You got a shadow. I don't want to. Well, wait a minute.
Oh no, you see, because, oh, okay, we didn't use that, yeah. Well, once you bring it right to the back, we
I got a light on my camera has a light on it too.
It feels like maybe there's some air coming.
I feel something.
You feel something?
Oh, it's starting to come down, probably.
It's coming up, something is getting a little.
So, okay, let me, this is a test stream, so, you know, okay, we got our people are feeding into the stream already. Yeah, so this is a test stream is setting up, alright? It's not going to last very long. And the description can be as long as you want it to be.
Yeah. Okay, Jamaica, did she write it? Oh, you want me to type it?
The text message I sent you?
Yeah.
Let's send me in one text. Put the title and then put a long space after the title and put the description.
But see now this one got
Oh,
an adjustment.
oh.
I don't know where.
You can put it, no, you can put it in the recording.
There.
Oh, so I'm going to shine on there. Oh, no, then no, sorry. It's going to get a shadow, but then bring it to the back end, okay? It's going to have a shadow in truth. Unless you're going to bring it to the back for it not to have a shadow.
Bring it back.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Oh no.
Because I kind of forgot the light thing. Light sits in the back of you, it's less likely to have a shadow in the back, directly in the back,
I think
to the
for an
wall.
hour.
Like,
Yeah, I think so.
because what happened, the sideways or something like that. Right there in the back.
I would imagine that we would be, I'm gonna fly in the morning.
So what you were saying, you could attach it on top of the camera too?
Oh, there she is.
You could touch that light on top of your camera?
No, I got a light on the camera.
Oh.
Hey, mama.
There's a light on the camera. Hey.
Yeah, so we're not worried about no copyright music, so don't worry about that. That doesn't stress me out. When I do anything, I don't worry about copyright music. With DJ coming up on the copyright music, you know, this way. Yeah, so what I do now, I use manual exposure. So even if the person doesn't light as much in the camera, you compensate. That's what I do.
Say again.
So you use the manual exposure and the camera to compensate for the light.
No, I haven't even tried this. I got this, let me try this.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, like, yeah, should have I should have advertised this for me.
Red,
I'm so happy to have a
can
wide
you help me
leg
hang the
here.
banner? Can you help me hang the banner?
I didn't realize my shirt was on button.
Yeah. Did you saw what I sent you? I
Oh.
sent you something.
Okay, I'm gonna check it was off.
That's about it.
Alright.
Alright, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Did you get them to put on the ear?
No, they said I get cool right here.
Not ear, not ear. Ear, not ear.
I feel some air.
It's cool, yeah, but it's getting cooler. As we know.
I was soaking wet already before they turn it on.
Yes. I know what they can't like
You
it.
know what we should do? We should take off the tail of it.
We can take them off. We can take them all off.
Take off the tail of it.
Try to look. I just need to cheer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
That's good.
well, it depends.
Good, yeah.
We
don't need no table. More.
All of it needs to come
All right, take them out.
All of it.
Take them out.
So we have-
Maybe just leave where we are going to do.
You're gonna be right here.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you right here. They're gonna be right here. Okay.
And then we can sit right there.
Yeah, we're going to switch chairs.
Yes.
Can we take up some space? Because if people short, we are short.
Huh?
It's a lot of people short. We are short.
True.
I think we after 8 now, don't expect much. Because the parking around here is rough.
Versus Gumbo is like when they come away for some reason, it just gives you like it's far. It feels like you're going far, but it's not.
Yes. I don't know what this is.
You want?
People are asking about
Yes.
see what do you do. Oh, you're running right.
You're taking on the wine.
Huh?
I bet you're not going to hear. I don't remember what it says something.
But
What's on this seat number?
See, if they do
did you do a sound?
You know what, maybe I originally tell
Let me
people.
do a sound check.
When you're telling them the election voting starts.
So working. You see that? Oh, it's coming up again. Stream.
This is your key?
That's 6. That's 3. Pro to the stream. I wonder if I should shut it down and do it.
Make it on two sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Let me, I don't know.
Well, I guess if people don't come and you take and play it.
Oh, no, yeah, no.
That's the keys to take the
It
debate.
is, yeah, that's
Right.
it. We just wanted like
Yeah,
whatever audience.
right.
This is yours?
Yeah, it's okay.
This is live, right?
We're not gonna get no water for the speakers.
John, yeah, what's your name?
I need 2 cameras. Where's that other camera?
You just took it, that's it.
Huh?
You just said,
I'm
that's
talking
it.
to myself.
No worry, no fear. Don't fear.
Where the car is?
Just walk all the way down the front street. And then when you get to the front street, you take a left and you come in that way.
You're right. We're not ready yet.
Hey, you should be getting ready to go now.
About 5-10 minutes when we're ready.
Set up. Oh, we need.
We're not ready yet. We'll be ready in about 10 minutes. 5-10 minutes. We'll be ready. We'll start bringing people in.
Just saying hi to
Oh, okay.
my man.
Oh, yes, sir. Don't do that, thank you.
Right.
Just in the stream. Did you get to see that?
One guy.
Yeah, I was watching it.
Oh, you watching the stream? Thank you. I was like, I'm sure boy is something. I just like,
You have seen one viewer.
I'm one of those things. This is a cheap run.
As fast as I can.
What are you using?
This is a cheap run. I'm using this Kodak. This.
That's
I
it?
got this the other day. Not the other day, but I got it some time ago. Right? So you know battery nothing. You just get apps. Right?
So you just plug the
And I never use it too long.
HDMI.
So you take the HDMI, it gives you the same thing I use on the phone, but it's like female to female. And you put it in there, you have to go that OBS works, but I never really use OBS. It just like have you used OBS?
I think maybe one or two of them I
I
tried.
never really did. But I'm using let me try. I'm trying to find I'm just getting another picture.
I use wireframe.
Oh, that's it. Oh,
Wirecast.
Wirecast.
Wirecast, I mean.
Right
Are you using it right now?
yeah.
Okay.
Picture.
Do you have the commercial version?
Huh?
Do you have the commercial?
Sorry, I didn't do anything. I was just going like a clock. That was my infant selling the job. I'm going like a clock, literally. So I didn't do any commercial for anything. I'm just
No, the commercial version of the Wirecast. The one I have is just.
Oh, I took it off. Yeah, I took it. I put it for the I did that like a year and a half, 2 years ago. You pay to take off the ad.
So you can have to
You have to pay to take off the
buy
ad.
your one then. I think it's $500 for.
No, not to take off the ad. No, you download it. I download it from YouTube. You go to YouTube and get the link, or you just download it from the site. And take off the ad is like $15 once or something like that.
I didn't know that.
That's $15 or $20, yeah. You got to pay all that money if you want all the other features.
What do you pay?
Same way I can
$15.
Right here, there's an option. You go in here. Stream, I'm going to show you when it's finished. But it's like you go into the setting, you go in right here.
What about the quality? They give you the.
You get the best of the same quality. The only thing is changing it. 1080p. Look at it right here. You go into
I have to remember. I got the cable.
Yeah, but it's all about the internet. Not even the internet service here. If I just see the wire, I take the wire on the phone and you can direct plug. Because the Wi-Fi, you know the Wi-Fi, no matter what they say with Wi-Fi, it does give a. Because most of these companies suck the Wi-Fi. Huh?
The mobile Wi-Fi is very good for me.
It works on your computer too?
I use this at my computer coming here. I was watching that on my
Well,
computer.
no, I don't want, no, it's not the laptop anymore. When it's streaming off the laptop. Can they get the Wi-Fi off the phone on the laptop? You don't need to do that, I think, right?
It's on my Mac.
Oh, you see
I use a mobile hotspot.
Oh, mobile hotspot, yeah. They work. I have Boost Mobile, I should try it. I never really tried.
So where are you going to be?
I can use my iPad or I can use my iPhone, the mobile
Oh,
hotspot.
so you pay the extra for the hotspot feature?
No, T-Mobile has everything.
Oh, so you get a hotspot automatically?
Yeah.
Isn't the hotspot like, and they also have hotspots outside, I heard, right? Okay.
But that one also that I do it off the phone.
Okay.
And the Wi-Fi.
So I just listened to it. See, I see people on it right now. When I haven't done it, I was just adding a text and all that. So you said you stream on YouTube, right? So
Yeah, I have a live channel on YouTube I use. But just for testing, I didn't use it to stream any event or anything.
Okay, so since I have, like I said, since I have the preferred approach, I prefer it because I have all the subscribers. I can like stream on my cell phone and YouTube. Like how like you can do them on the blog site.
Right.
Yeah. So I like stream over there too.
Yeah, we're gonna have to use it and abuse it more.
Oh yeah, I have to use it more. But the only issue was like I said, I have to set up to get clients to.
Let me get a share.
So one because the time, I need to like control my time. So I want to do that.
Let's start next day. Maybe I'm out of control.
Oh, okay. All right. How about accept here? How about accept here?
Is it over there for two?
Yeah. You want to come this way?
Yeah, chair there. Huh?
Yeah, sir. Sir. You want to come this way?
Your side.
Go that way.
Let me push this side. Let me push this way slightly.
Straight.
To give you a little space.
Straight. Yeah.
No, more back and let me move my bag, I guess.
So, you know, this is like.
That mean,
You're running, they didn't tell me. She didn't tell you all over the road.
In that thing.
With your hands
right
up.
behind you.
Both from
Right
behind.
behind you.
Just let me know.
Strips are in there.
Position.
that's why I sent it to you, so that you
I need
It's 2
some.
days ago. 2 days ago.
So put a strip on yours, I'll put a strip.
Alright, just let your cards be. The next thing the cards are going to see by. Alright, you get it? You good? That's it?
Yeah.
I want it. You good? I want it. Alright.
Okay.
Alright. Doing this. Can you put your cards up here?
It's on down.
Oh, it's on there? Okay.
Yeah, it's not down. It's on down.
Alright. Okay.
You mean underneath the
Yeah,
chair?
it doesn't matter. Just put it on the chair.
Read this.
Oh, yeah.
It's easier?
Okay. Nice.
I don't know that thing, and
Yes.
I put yourself in the back here.
And you kept ready.
No.
Alright, so
It's good.
let's stream over this. I'm gonna get up
So
and
you can pass
let me
it.
get up and
Okay.
go ahead.
You got one? You got yours? Yeah. Okay. Hold it. Put your side up.
I'm feeling the audio of myself because I haven't done it on this laptop before.
Is it straight?
Yeah.
Is it straight? Yes.
Alright? No, I'm just listening to this on my phone. Oh, to monitor the chat.
Oh, it's one thing.
Oh, somebody said they love
Your
the
side, your side right. Yes.
That's it?
Thank you. Working and setting up the stream stuff.
That's like,
How is it working?
Good? Yeah.
Somebody watching that?
Yeah, somebody, so, could be somebody who got it.
You good?
Yeah, you have an audience.
We need more, so we can
That's it. You go finish where you are. We have to start now.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh.
Do two.
Okay.
You know what people listen here?
I didn't set this or nothing. So I have a couple options.
How is it straight?
That's straight. I'm going to
Just to get up.
Alright, drop it down so you can use the third one.
I usually,
We can't drop it
let
too
me see,
down.
I should have, I'll go ask on this today.
Say, oh, you got a TV block. Try put it there. Drop it.
This get ready for it.
Pull it. Get it down.
Do you mind just coming over? I just want to estimate the heads, how the heads going to be. Thank you. Thank you.
So put it right in front of the TV, right there.
Thanks.
So you can get the third one.
Yeah, so we can get.
Oh yeah, just a few more minutes. Thank you. Thank you.
That's it?
Oh.
Hold your stack. Fred, put your stack.
All right. Thanks. This is going to work.
It's good.
Maybe some.
They're trying to get it centered.
Is it straight?
This is straight. I thought you wanted.
Oh yeah, so
We
this is
want to
going to
center
work.
it straight.
So go about
And then I go to some manual to get more light.
Tell me.
I go manually expose it.
All right. I'll straighten up
Yeah, so this little camera here,
a little more.
you really something I film with this. But I'm going up. It's a 60p HD 1080p.
Move some
I
direction.
got this like 8 years ago.
Hurry up.
Back then, I did
They're going to sit right here. Don't show.
Right out the HDMI.
Huh? Yes.
It'll
And
show.
I got
It'll
a
show.
camera.
Just straight.
Those guys was telling me when I went to DNH that some of the bigger cameras, not big, but some of the like the HD camera that kind of professional, almost like this, doing just about the same thing. The only difference is that the sensors are a little better for low light. Okay. Once they are light, it's still the exact same. Because when they just started putting on the HD, they just put it out. They didn't do that. They didn't do this like percentage thing as much.
So the other one,
So I just that. Yeah, so right now, I put it on at 720. Because sometimes when it freeze up, I'll try it. I want to try this one. Why do we have really high speed? Let me go back to the stream and go back to the and then now I'm gonna I have the option of just light if I want to bring more light.
remove the
Or the ad. Yeah, you could do it for 2 computers. For 2 computers? No, it's a one-time charge. Yeah. I think like $50. And, huh? You just pay it once, and you have a code. But the problem is if you lose that code, you don't know. So I keep using my email. And every time you change your computer, you have to put in that code right up in there. I'll show you what to do. Right up in there. This way it's like so. Yeah, right here. Preferences. You see where it's like so there? See my code? So this code now is like this more than 2 computers. When you pay, you get that code. Like right here. Just click on there after the same that.
Who's going to keep time?
What's the license? Yeah.
Stop.
What's the license?
Who's your timekeeper?
Stop.
Yeah.
Whenever here, just click calculations. And that way good. Now, if you know you have the license already, you You don't need to print, just click on add and plus. And just put the license and take away, or as long as you put license, take away the thing. That's for the other features. All the other features, full version. This is the only thing you pay that for.
Quick. Because I want to use it to shoot the girls and censor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hurry. And start. Going to live.
Yes. And I just haven't been doing a lot of things. They were telling me, people were telling me how Facebook Live is really good too for just going live. Because they have the Kodak built into all these different software now. So just like how the YouTube software built into that, Facebook software is built into most of the new software updates.
Yeah.
And you can go directly live without even having to do any like
Anything fancy.
fancy thing. So that meant I was at
Do you prefer this to Facebook or?
huh?
Do you prefer using this? Where is the gentleman? To Facebook? Instead of Facebook?
But the only reason why is because YouTube have an idea you can monetize eventually. Even when they put it on YouTube, you can like, you have the potential. Like I don't have the traffic to monetize everything, so that's why I haven't doing that. And then with YouTube now, with Facebook now, it's like just like that. It's
You can know every day. This now is your Facebook.
yeah, you send it there. I'm supposed to send it there. Yeah, so I'm going to do that too. You can just send it there.
Can share it.
Yep.
Send better than Facebook.
Yep. The only thing with Facebook now, the native videos are tend to get a lot of views fast. The native videos on Facebook, but it's still. Oh, so I have to come back. I almost. Can you cheat this slightly, or is it too much? Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, because it's better for the cameras if they cheat that way. It's better for the camera.
That's really fun.
Well, you see how I'm just saying? You see the better for the camera when you cheat that way? It's looking like. I know if you have more than one camera shoot, it's good to be a distance away from the this.
When you take over the camera, see.
Huh?
Where can
Yeah. You can take multiple cameras, but it's like a pay. I pay that
Can you hook
500.
this up for me while I'm doing this? Get this.
What do you mean, programming?
Yeah, just turn it on. And,
Really, actually, I don't use these, you know. And when I don't use it, I doesn't like to. So, do you use this? Do you use this audio?
I don't really do
Audio.
anything when it comes to the
Okay, audio. Okay.
I'm the software guy.
I'll be good as you with this. Oh, the card is protected.
The car?
It's protected.
Take the thing off and
I don't know if it's
unlock it.
protected inside. Let me see if it's inside.
Let me take it off.
Let me see if it's inside again. Look at this one. I just pull it. I pull this, right? This is hold, right?
Yeah.
So this one is when you.
Alright.
This one is supposed to be on?
No. Let me check. Let me
Check the card. Okay. And every time you use a card, it's going to format it unless you want to save something. I learned that the hard way.
This probably.
And they told me not to do that. Not to use these cards.
Why?
Because it didn't make for that.
Huh?
And so then it get corrupted. I know, but it wasn't made for that. So then it will get corrupted, no problem. Just get the full one. Big star. But yeah, so look, it seems like it's automatically set. I'm guessing it's automatically set. I'm guessing it's automatically set, even though I'm not, I don't really see it.
See who goes first.
Alright, give me a test.
Alright, so each of you draw one. Alright.
Outdoor.
The one with the longest
Outdoor.
goes first. The one with the second longest goes second.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I'm going to record on this. Okay. I changed the color. Yes, so you see the color change. If you guys watching the speed here, the testing feed. If you're watching the testing feed, you see the color just change because I'm adjusting the color in the camera. You call that color, you call that white balance. Even though it's not just whiteness, the balance, they call it white balance. So we're not going to be using a lot of zoom. You know, usually my footage will have a lot of zoom in. Today going to be a wide shot. I'm going to zoom in to feature some of the players.
So does everyone always go first? Oh, it's first go first, right?
I'm going to start recording now. Recording now. And let's zoom into some of the faces.
Everyone always go first?
Yes.
What's that?
So you go the first question, you answer, then one then second question, you answer.
Can I see my
Relax.
you're gonna hold it.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll get a chance to respond to that.
Listen, anything you're supposed to ask this time.
That was the guy.
Brett would like you to repeat that. Repeat the condition.
I'm going to give you.
See, I just white balance it there. Look, you see the picture different?
Yeah, looking different, yeah.
More like a auto white balance, but so you get to see the person's close up, and then
2 minutes.
remind you, this is a live stream. This is not my professional recording.
You have all of these?
Each question is 2 minutes. Rebuttal is 1. And then we may ask a question.
Brad, give me a test. Give me a count to 10.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing
Can you listen to that audio and tell me why
1,
you
2,
feel
3, 2, 3,
Good, good.
2, 3, 2, 3. Where is the
Oh, I forgot to say, well,
microphone?
listen to the site.
Where is your microphone?
Sorry, cut off.
Where is this microphone?
His?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a
Where's your
boom.
Oh, mine?
Yes, your microphone.
No, I'm feeling a white shot because it's.
Wait a minute. And then I got a task
All right,
cam.
could we get everybody in? Let's start.
Anybody out there? Anybody?
And the candidates' mic.
Okay, it's just here.
Mark.
Yes.
The mic for the candidates.
No, I
Are you
don't
hearing it?
I don't need them.
Yeah, I heard it.
I got this.
I don't want to hear them speaking, right?
The delay.
I know it's going to be a big delay, but I'm just
Test,
hearing it.
1, 2, test, 1, 2.
Hey, can you speak again, please?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
I can speed up the delay, but it's on a delay for when you because it's HG.
No one is waiting. No one is out there.
Okay, so we started a wide shot, and eventually I'll zoom in to get the. But this is low cost live streaming.
So when they talk, you could pick up.
Yeah, that'll pick them up. That'll pick them up.
You sure about that?
Of course.
You guys may want to come a little closer to me.
Oh yeah, closer to each other. It will be very nice.
No, this is good.
That's
Oh,
good.
good?
It's going to run throughout, so don't worry about it.
Oh.
That's very, very accurate. The only thing is, I'm getting your head. Yeah.
They got to pull up or someone.
Alright, let's roll the people. Roll the people. Stay right on time.
Got to pull that up closer to me. 'Cause I like to get my little wider shot. You go like more room, more weight. They're so far apart. Oh yeah, thank you. The closer the better for me. So I don't have to cheat the camera back. I don't have to use a wide angle lens.
All right, I'm rolling.
Right?
Okay, so let's go straight to the talent. Talent. Talent in focus.
What else?
Okay.
So where's the others?
Okay. Oh no, that's some people. Because they have some people there. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it. I was gonna cut the stream and start over.
Alright. What, 7 people?
Look at that there. That's some people watching.
Ready? Let's go downstairs. Okay, good evening everyone. Good evening everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, welcome to the Jamaica Diaspora Northeast 2017 election debate. I want to thank you for coming. This debate has been sponsored by the JDME Elections Committee. I'm your host for the evening, the Reverend Andrew Bennett, Sr., and we will be having a robust, inspiring, engaging debate this afternoon. I'm looking forward to hear what our candidates would have to say. Thank you so much for joining us, especially those of you who are joining us via the internet. We are glad you are here. We want to thank the Jamaica Diaspora Show and Mr. Mark Millward for making this happen for us this evening. At this time, we're going to open in prayer as is customary, and we have with us Deacon Sam Sheraton, and he is going to lead us in prayer. Deacon.
Eternal Father, the giver of every good and perfect gift, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of our island home, Jamaica. And we come now to discuss the future leadership of the diaspora, and we ask you to bless each and every candidate who has made themselves available for leadership. We ask you to bless the proceedings tonight and everything that's done. Give honor and glory to your name. We pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
The primary purpose of our debate this evening is to give our candidates an opportunity to give their platform, tell us a little bit about their platform, to share their vision as nominees to the position of diaspora ABMs. And we are looking forward to hearing what they have to say. I would like to give you a little bit of rundown as to the guidelines of our evening and how we will approach the debate. First of all, the debate style we're using is an announcer, moderator approach, where I'll be asking the questions. We are going to go into 2 or 3 sections if we have the time. First of all, we're going to have some opening statements by the candidates, and they all know exactly the order in which they are going to be appearing. And then we are going to ask them to give us opening statements for 2 minutes. After the opening statements are given, we're going to go into section 1, which will look at the candidates' exposure to diaspora matters. And we're going to ask several questions in that section. We're going to go to section 2, which will look at the candidate's vision overall for the diaspora itself. And then section 3, we're going to look a little bit at diaspora development. We're going to talk a little bit about diaspora development. Hopefully we will have the time perhaps to give a question or 2 to the audience. Maybe somebody in the audience would like to ask the panel of nominees a question. So please note that the questions will be 2 minutes in response from each candidate. When you're outside of 30 seconds to completing the 2 minutes, the timekeeper will sound the bell once, and then thereafter, we're going to, after the 30 seconds is up and your time is up, the timekeeper will sound the bell twice. You will have 2 minutes to respond, and you'll get in 1 minute to rebut. Now, in the rebuttal, we're going to ask you to choose one of the candidates' comments that you have heard that you would like to rebut on, and then you will rebut for a minute on that. So that is pretty straightforward. 2 minutes to answer the questions, and 1 minute for rebuttal. Okay, are we ready? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. At this time, we're going to invite our first candidate to tell us her name and give us her opening statement.
Good evening, everyone, and also those who are listening on Twitter, on social media, wherever you're listening from. Good evening. My name is Akeelia Maitland, and I am running, of course, for the position of Jamaica Advisory Board member. position has been in existence for several years now, over 10 years now, advising Jamaica. And this is an opportunity for me to give back in a more tangible way some of the concerns that we've seen in our community. Want to make sure that I become that mouthpiece for Jamaicans, if you will. That's how I see this position, an opportunity to be the mouthpiece for Jamaicans in the Northeast to Jamaica. I do believe it's a relevant position. There's a lot of issues that affect us as Jamaicans in the Northeast, or just globally, right? We give back to Jamaica when it comes to remittances, when it comes to philanthropy, and so there's a lot of things that matter to us, that affect us, and that's why I'm running for advisory board member.
Thank you very much. And now we will have the opening statement for our second candidate. Please introduce yourself and give us your statement.
Good evening, everyone. I am Carleen Lardy. I am running for the advisory board member position for the Jamaica Diaspora Northeast. I believe that the region needs constructive leadership covering all sectors. And I believe that my experience in the diaspora over the past 30 plus years gives me that opportunity to use those personal skills and leadership skills to impact the community regarding issues, to bring the community together in terms of unity, support, action. My involvement in various community organizations and the initiatives to which I have played a leading part contributes to my belief that it is time for me to step up and serve the diaspora community. I'm of the firm opinion that there are issues within this diaspora, the Northeast. We need to more or less get our act together. There have been a lot of dissatisfaction surrounding the relationship between the diaspora and the Jamaica and the Jamaican leaders, but I feel that it's partly due to us not being fully organized and with a base, so to speak, and so my intention is to do that, is to get us together so that we have one voice, that we have one fist instead of 5 fingers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will now go to our third speaker. Yes, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ron Ingleton, and I'm running for the Jamaica Diaspora USA Northeast board member position. And after careful consideration over the years, I thought it is time enough that I step up and share my skills that I've had over the years accumulated and known about diaspora affairs. I've been active in the diaspora, and more so I've attended just about all the diaspora events and have a direct feel of exactly how Jamaicans feel in the diaspora towards their homeland, Jamaica. Now, it is very, very disturbing to me that most Jamaicans here in the diaspora does not even understand or know that there is a diaspora board that they could reach out to. And that's one of the things that I want to get done, that the Jamaican community understand that they can reach out and there's someone that they can speak to that will make recommendations on their behalf to the government of Jamaica and the persons responsible in the different areas that they might have concern. I indicated that one of the things that I would love to see happen is that we have a diaspora board, a subcommittee board behind me that will actually be given the opportunity to weigh in and assist me in bringing forward the ideas that you need us to recommend. And I will do that to the best of my ability once I'm given the opportunity to do so. And I look forward to serving the Jamaican community here in the diaspora.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard all three candidates giving their opening statements, and now we're going to move in the first section, having the candidates talk a little bit about their exposure. We are going to go to our first candidate, and we're going to ask this candidate to please describe your current involvement, Ms. Maitland, your current involvement in the Jamaican diaspora. What is your current involvement in the Jamaican diaspora?
So my current involvement, most recently my current involvement has been with young Jamaican leaders within the diaspora. And so we have our Jamaica 55 Diaspora Conference coming up, a plug for that conference. And in preparation for that conference, it has been galvanizing our young people to attend the conference, or if they cannot attend, to find ways for them to contribute to the program for that conference. And sitting also on the core group for my cohort around what should that program look like for young people, right? What is it that we want to see as issues, as concern? So I've been representing our cohort along with other members across the UK, Canada, and the US. So that's my most recent diaspora involvement.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Lardy, could you answer the question?
Sure.
Please describe your current involvement in the Jamaican diaspora.
And I have 2 minutes. I will try to break it down into 2 minutes. Everything I do, just about everything that I do, because I'm retired, is involved with the diaspora, and a relationship with Jamaica. Like Akelia, right now, I'm focusing on encouraging our community to attend the conference. There was a lot of angst surrounding the communication of that information, and so I say, rather than continue this angst and this discussion, go to the conference, put up your hand, and voice your opinions. And hopefully, between the two of us, we will get a large contingent in Jamaica in July. But I'm also involved with the Jamaica Diaspora Education Task Force. We are currently attempting to run a US $2.2 million fundraising campaign with corporate Jamaica, and that is to serve basic schools in Jamaica. I am the immediate past president of UJA. I remain on the board of UJA, that's the Union of Jamaican Alumni Associations, and we are getting ready to attend the conference, as we have been represented in all of the diaspora conferences since they started. One of the other things that we're doing is we're trying to get into the marketplace again. We did it at the last conference, and it was a great impact and success for us. So I'm busy in the diaspora, and I continue to do that.
Thank you. We will have the third nominee responding, Mr. Ronald Ingleton.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Currently, I serve as a director for the Union of Jamaica Alumni Association, and which is primarily over 40 high schools and associations that at least meet every quarter to discuss education for the most part, basic school education, as it is one of the main concerns that I would also like to address when I become a board member. But even more so, my great concern is the lack of sponsorship for students that we could do here in the Northeast, encouraging our young people in Jamaica that there is a road for them in terms of scholarships, that they can further education, and also to bring together our resources in the area of education. Also, I really, my involvement also is to get as many Jamaicans to be involved in the decision making of their own land. And I've been the length and breadth of the Northeast over the last at least 14 years, encouraging my fellow Jamaicans that don't just talk, but get involved with your community organization, organize yourself, and be a part of the diaspora affairs. So that is my goal, to unite, and that was what I've been working on for the last few years, diligently.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we're going to give each nominee an opportunity to rebut. I'm not so sure if there's much rebuttal there, since it's just they're describing how they have been involved in the diaspora recently, but we're going to do it nonetheless, and we're going to ask Ms. Lawrence Maitland to go right ahead and give her 1 minute rebuttal to the response of her choice.
Well, not so much of a rebuttal, if you will, but expanding on my role in terms of the diaspora. You know, one of the things for me is that I'm by day, in terms of work, I am a social work administrator. More specifically, a program director for youth in entering foster care, teenagers entering foster care. And in that regard, I've been doing this for over 10 years, and one of the things that is heartbreaking for me, and a stark realization for me, is that I see a lot of Jamaican families come across my door. And not all Jamaicans are doing well in the diaspora, and so we like to mention giving back to Jamaica, but how are Jamaicans doing here is also important to myself, and a core part of even my work right now on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you. Ms. Lawrence.
Again, like Akeelia, I don't think I have a rebuttal, so to speak. Okay, but I understand Ron's eagerness and urgency to educate our community and Jamaicans in the community. We are a strange lot, and I would like to compliment him on that. Okay, those of us on the user board spend a lot of time doing that, and so he's right on target.
Yes. Mr. Ingleton?
No, Mr. Chairman, I really wouldn't want to rebut anything that my good friends have shown us. In fact, I want to support them. You know, to join hands, because like I said before, my role is not to be divisive, but more one of bringing together. And this is why I stressed that I want to expand the interest of my fellow Jamaicans in reaching out and let their voices be heard.
Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the first question being responded to by the nominees. Put your hands together for them. I think they are. And we want to now continue with our second question, which is a little bit deeper and you know, hitting to the knowledge base of the nominees. As you know, this position requires involvement both in the diaspora and in Jamaica. And the question is, are you familiar with the Jamaica Diaspora Institute and the Jamaica Diaspora Foundation? And do you know what the mandate of the Jamaica Diaspora Institute is? Are you familiar with the Jamaica Diaspora Institute and the Jamaica Diaspora Foundation? And do you know what the mandate of the Jamaica Diaspora Institute is?
So yes, I am familiar with the Jamaica Diaspora Institute and the Jamaica Diaspora Foundation. However, I think the mandate is something that I definitely need clarification on. I've never, even though it has been explained to me, I think one of the challenges for myself has been, why does there need to be two separate setup outfits coming out of Jamaica representing the diaspora and what has that been looking like in terms of representing. It has diaspora in its name. What does that look like in representing the diaspora? I've worked with Professor Neville Ying over the course of the years, and particularly again around different issues affecting the diaspora part, and again more so because I'm a young Jamaican, on issues representing young Jamaicans. But again, a question that has always come up for me has been, what is the purpose of the two different, the Institute and the Foundation? Most of what I've also seen coming out of the Institute has been the organization of the Diaspora Conference, playing a leading role in that regard, and of course doing research or galvanizing resources to help facilitate what we do or what comes from the diaspora. But again, I think that's one of those areas that needs to be looked at to make it much more robust and relevant to the work of the diaspora overall.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, I am familiar with both organizations. One of them, the Institute, I believe, is responsible for planning the conferences. I think the foundation is the one that's supposed to make the money, get the money for the conference. That's my understanding. But it's curious that I'm asked this question because one of the things that I put down that when I win, this is what I have to do, is to find out what do they really do. Because in reality, we have not really heard anything about it. I have a very good relationship with Professor Ying, and I intend to honor him in July when I am there, regardless of whether I win or not. Okay, because I'm getting a little bit frustrated with not knowing, with nothing coming out from those organizations. There's no communication as to the status and where they are with what they do. And, you know, that's the extent of my knowing about them.
Okay.
And not knowing about them.
Mr. Ingleton.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. You know, for me, I am very much familiar of the existence of the Institute and the Foundation. And like my colleague said a while ago, the need for two separate bodies, I really don't see the need, and this is one of the areas that I think I want to bring together, because there is that or discommunication, you know, and this diaspora conference is a good example, because it's only probably just about a month that we have been advised of even whether or not the diaspora conference is going to go on, and the dates. And I think that is a clear indication of the disconnect between the two entities. They're not seeing eye to eye, or probably not even talking to themselves. And it's my aim to unify that group and better organize so that we here in the Northeast become a part of the decision in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, I do feel very strongly that it's the wrong time for this particular conference as it is being scheduled, because right at the same time of independence, everybody wants a party, you know, and to try and bring the diaspora conference at the time when there's independence, you know, people, it probably is not going to even get the sort of support that I would love to see happen. So even the timing, I question. So the mandate is unite in its entirety. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time now we are going to hear the rebuttals, and I hope we have some. We are going to ask Ms. Lawrence Macon to take the shine of the ball.
I'll pass on the rebuttal for now.
You'll pass? Okay. Pass.
I would like to pass as well.
Okay. This is very interesting.
It's only fitting.
This is very interesting. Yes, go right ahead.
It's only fitting that I pass off.
But let's ask question for our colleagues.
Well, the rebuttal period is yours, ma'am. You could have used it in any which way you chose, but you have passed, so we will pass and move on to the next question. Please understand that your rebuttals can be used for
Okay.
anything, asking question, interacting,
Okay.
challenging,
Okay.
whatever it is that your colleagues have said to the various questions. So we'll move on to the next question. Thank you very much. So our next question is, are you familiar with the Jamaica National Development Plan, Vision 2030, and what are some of the key components, and how would you facilitate those components within the diaspora here in the Northeast?
So yes, I am familiar with the Vision 2030. I do know it was formulated to make Jamaica the place to live, to raise your family, and to do business. I am not familiar with the intimate details of the plan. It's been a while since I've reviewed it. But certainly key components coming out of that, and a big component of the conference is economic development. And looking at the current government, part of that is the creation of the Economic Growth Council and figuring out ways to, there's a specific committee within the Economic Growth Council, a task force for diaspora engagement. And so of course, you know, it's one thing to give a man, give a man a fish as opposed to teach him how to fish.
Yes.
And that's what economic development does. When you have socio-economic issues, what you need is to give, there's something worthy in having income coming in, whether it's in terms of business or employment. So I do know that's a major mandate of the government in capitalizing on Vision 2030. And so for me, coming into this position, it is to figure out a way to what matters to us here. Because remember, this is an advisory board position. So it's advising the minister on what matters to the diaspora in relation to economic development. Not everybody have deep pockets to do investments in Jamaica. And so if investment is part of that push and that thrust, how do you create the opportunity for our average Jamaicans to be able to do that? And what is it that we want to do in regards to that?
Okay, thank you. Ms. Largin?
Yes, yes, I am very familiar with Vision 2030 and have been involved in the education aspect of it. Education is my arena, and we in that arena between the Union of Jamaican Alumni Associations, individual alumni associations, and the Jamaica Diaspora Education Task Force, we have taken measures and steps and come up with initiatives and programs to address education in Vision 2030. The Ministry of Education is very much aware of what we do. I am also aware, although I have not participated hands-on, with health. Health has made significant inroads in terms of addressing Vision 2030. I have my homework cut out for me in terms of Economic Growth Council and the other aspects. Okay, but it is a document that I have on my computer, all thousands of pages. And yes, I am aware of it, and that part of my platform is to continue to work with the needs and the expressions and the sentiments of Vision 2030.
Okay. You saying good job?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I am very familiar with Vision 2030, but I'm disappointed, to say the least. I'm disappointed that I'm only aware of one working component of Vision 2030. That is, you can literally see, which is education. And I applaud my colleague. We at the Union of Jamaica Alumni Association, we have worked diligently and hard to make sure that education stays on the front burner. But in all the other areas, to a lesser extent, you almost don't know if there's an initiative that exists. I'm aware that we have the nurses who work very hard and in conjunction with doctors doing voluntary work from time to time in Jamaica. And that's about where it stops. And I believe that Vision 2030 should be exercising more their options of trying to get Jamaicans here in the Northeast involved in other areas like in industry, small business. We know we have problems with energy in Jamaica, technology issues, that I really do believe that an effort should be made by us here in the Northeast Diaspora to encourage Jamaicans to return home, take home some of the resources, and make good on the wishes of Vision 2030.
Okay. Now we're going into our rebuttal section, and I hope we're not told that we do not have any rebuttals. That is what makes the debate exciting, when we challenge each other in the process. So, Ms. Lawrence Maitland, what do you have for us as regards to a rebuttal?
Sure. An expansion in that, Vision 2030 for me was a prime example of why this position is relevant. When I first learned of Vision 2030 about 10 years ago, the first thing I looked up was, how was this created to begin with? And the Planning Institute said, well, they will do diaspora consultations. Well, I didn't see any diaspora consultations on the development of Vision 2030. And I think for me going into, not even I think, part of for me that mandate going into this, to the Jamaican government, it's you really have to figure out ways to regionalize consultations from the diaspora in a more operationalized way, working with, you look back at mapping Jamaica that they had. Well, they didn't really do well in mapping Jamaica because they didn't really work with us as strongly as they needed to, our radio stations, our TV stations, to get our consultation. And so more of us would probably know a little better about Vision 2030 if we were consulted to begin with on it. Thank you very much. Wait, I have more time.
Okay, done? Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Lardy.
I will speak to both Akeelia and Ron. I don't believe that the onus is on Jamaica. I think it's a collaborative effort. And I believe also that with all task forces that are beginning to develop and form, they may not be specifying that they are addressing expectations in Vision 2030, but they're definitely working in areas outside of health and education. And one of the, I want to see more of that, okay? One of the things that we do as Jamaicans is sometimes we quietly go about what it is that we have to do. We don't beat our chest, we don't get up and raise up our hands and stop and carry on. This is what we do, this is what we do. There are a few who do that. But generally we don't. And so as the advisory board member, we need to get out there and find out who are the others and what are their sectors, so to speak.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Ingleton, your turn.
And here's where we differ. Again, education and health on the forefront. But to say that we are working in a corner, in silence, this is where I think the Diaspora Northeast board member comes in. Let your voices be heard. We will not be able to harness resources unless we make it public. So we have to do better public relation related. Get word out to the community. Let them get involved, because it's the community's input that will make us a strong recommendation going to the government of Jamaica. So in that regard, I feel very strongly, very strongly, that it is very important that the Jamaican community know what is Vision 2030.
Thank you very much, sir.
You can say something?
No, ma'am. We are finished with that question. Thank you very much for your input. The debate is taking its time and eating up, and I hope you are as excited as I am to hear the candidates reflect on such a very important issue as Vision 2030 tells me that they are indeed engaged, as they say they are. Now, the next question is, what do you think are the major concerns and interests of the Jamaican diaspora, particularly in the Northeast? What do you think are the major concerns and interests of the Jamaican diaspora here in the Northeast? Ms. Sakia.
Okay, so for me, I will answer that question to expound on what we weren't able to do in our additional rebuttal time. In that, I don't believe it, I don't think there's a point of disagreement, Dr. Ingleton. We share the same in that we have to do something and let stand firm and let our voices be heard. Certainly, I would say what we have been seeing, health has been a concern for us, education has been a concern for us. However, when you have a potential 2% engagement of the diaspora, can we really say those are the concerns for us, right? And that's where the advisory board role come in to play, as you said, Dr. Ingleton, in that we do need to develop some form of mechanism. And if you go to joinakilia.com, you will see that listed on there that the first platform item is that we connect with the diaspora. As was mentioned earlier, we need to get out there in our communities, wherever we're localized, to make sure that every Jamaican, as much as possible, is aware that we exist, we're your mouthpiece, and what are some mechanisms to make sure that they know, look, what are the issues? What is affecting you? Is it really health? Is that the piece that you want to give back to? Or is it the bread and butter? And I think if you look at remittances, that held steady during recession. What's happening for them is their families. How are my families living, breathing in Jamaica? Because remittance is loyalty dollars, right? If I have $10, I'm going to find a way to give $5 out of it to my grandmother in Jamaica. So if I have to use data as an indication as to what matters for us, it is certainly the well-being of our families and friends in Jamaica, and a lot of that will come through education and health for certain.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Lardy.
I want to spend one moment using the rebuttal that I didn't get. Was that I thoroughly agree with Akeelia, and she responded what I was going to say to Ron. But to the question at hand, major concerns and interests, education and health are popular, and they're social issues, and so everybody can wrap their arms around that. However, I think at the same time, particularly at this time in the diaspora, in this country, immigration and deportation is a major concern. Not only a concern, but an issue, okay? And we can only resolve it or move forward with it in collaboration with Jamaica, because there are laws that must be followed. We can't just get up and we're going to do this. The other thing is crime. Okay, lots of persons will not go home, okay, because they are afraid and they hear these horror stories. And you know how Jamaicans can embellish things and you end up laughing when it's a serious matter, okay. Another concern that keeps coming up now and then is representation in government, having a say, okay. That's a part of it's difficult one. I don't know when we're going to get there. I know it can be done. Other countries have done it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ingleton.
Well, I share my colleague's concern. It's one of my pet peeves. One of the issues, mainly crime. Jamaicans here in the diaspora, when you reach out to most Jamaicans, you want to hear of the gun crime, the killings, and they are scared of going home. When last year home, I haven't been home for 10 years, and who tell you I went to Jamaica because they've been holding up at the airport. So it's one of the areas of major concern, crime. How are we going to get crime down, and how can we in the diaspora support the government in the drive to decrease crime. Also, how are we going to put pressure on the government to discourage or even repeal the laws, that the agreement which we have in the United States of America, that we deport so many of our Jamaican colleagues for petty crime, not even crime, just petty things, you know, and a lot of people that are deported don't have any roots in Jamaica. They either leave Jamaica from they were a child, up here being deported for a motor vehicle violation, going home, you know, they end up really being in crime because they have to survive. So that is a concern that has to be addressed, and I believe the diaspora needs to be very forceful in making representation. Health and education is on the top priority. It has been on the top of the priority list and been taken care of. But I think we need to address how we look at crime and violence and deportation of our colleagues back to Jamaica.
Thank you very much. And now we're going to have our rebuttals. Ms. Lawrence Maitland.
Yes, sure. Rev, the key piece of what you said in that question is, what do you think are the concerns for Jamaicans? I don't speak for myself. I mean, certainly I have my issues, my concerns, and so my question to my colleagues is, how do you know for certain that these are the top concerns? And so recently, in preparation for the conference, I created, as part of the work group, a survey. And within 7 days, we had about 190 responses to the survey around what are some of your top issues: employability, entrepreneurship, and deepening cultural ties to Jamaica. Even though you had concerns around education and so forth, those were the top concerns that came up, and the mentoring of young people in Jamaica within 7 days. Data is saying this is what it is, not me thinking that this is what the issues are. Yes, I can throw something in there because that's what I've been volunteering in, but as this role, coming into this role, I am representing the voice of Jamaicans in the North.
Thank you. Ms. Largy.
I would really like to get behind that survey. Okay, because you might be right, your survey might be right, but I need to know more about the audience, the demographics. Because day after day after day, what I hear is deportation and crime. That's what I hear.
Anecdotal, but okay.
Okay. And Jamaicans, people in general have a tendency, you know, they say a lot of you want to do in the elevator.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's eating up, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Mr. Dr. Ingleton, go right ahead with your rebuttal, sir.
It's not really a rebuttal, Mr. Chairman, because I feel my colleagues. I feel my colleagues. And like Ms. Lardy said, it's a classic. In the elevator, you hear these things. You know, at the water cooler, you hear these things. If you play dominoes, as most Jamaicans are always in some kind of domino situation, you can hear the discussions loud and clear. Crime is a very major issue. Hence, the fear of my fellow Jamaicans of going home is of concern. I travel to Jamaica on a very regular basis, and just the thought of folks saying that Jamaica is dangerous, I don't see it. But it is on the street, and we got to educate, and that's where we come in. We got to educate the community that is not as bad as you are hearing it. And we got to blame the news media to a large extent because they feed on the negatives.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I can, even though the nominees are trying not to publicly oppose each other and challenge each other in the debate, I can sense a little tension building, and we want to, as we say in the Jamaican parlance, hot party, You know, we want to see.
Excite us.
Come on,
Okay.
work, Reverend.
No, no.
Work.
Okay, so our final question then in this section is can you identify the various Jamaican diaspora task forces that are currently operating? Can you identify the various Jamaican diaspora task forces that are currently operating?
Sure.
Beginning with Ms.
Maitland.
Lawrence.
Thank you. So right now we have several task forces operating. Keep in mind though that it is not a part of the formal structure of the advisory board as yet, right? We have to look at what's going on in terms of best practices there. But we have immigration, education, technology, agriculture, as well as health.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Lardy.
Education, agriculture, crime, and prevention, technology, and immigration and deportation. I am not aware that there is a health task force. I've not heard of it.
Yes, Mr. Dr. Ingleton.
I'm aware of all of the above. How much of an effect they are having is not, and again, I applaud the health sector and the education sector. Outside of that, every other area is lacking. Crime, agriculture, you know, technology, it's almost non-existent. You don't hear about it. I really don't. So I feel that it is time enough now that the leader, the representative of the Northeast Diaspora board, make the voices of the people be heard to these particular areas, in these particular areas.
Thank you. All right, now we go to our rebuttal for this question, and we're going to ask Ms. Lawrence Maitland to kick off the ball in terms of rebuttal.
Sure, if you go to callingalljamaicans.org, you will see the various task forces listed there, and you can also vote for me when you go on callingalljamaicans.org. And you know, again, I would say that from my experience with the task forces, it's one of those mechanisms that I've seen really bringing people from across the nation. A lot of people, and you may be right in terms of a health task force, but there's a operational health sector, which is a formal part of the Diaspora Advisory Board mechanism.
Okay. Yes.
I agree with you on the
Health,
no, because health is way ahead of everything.
yes.
Okay, I don't know how, those doctors and nurses just got their act together and they just do. Okay? I used to ask Claudia, oh, well, how do you do it? Why can't the teachers get together? Anyhow, I disagree with Ron in terms of the task force not doing anything. You need to get on their mailing list. I get these, their emails regularly. Okay, and they are working. They are working.
Mr. Ingleton, Dr. Ingleton, your rebuttal, sir.
See, here's where the disconnect comes in. Who mans or put folks on these mailing lists? How is it developed? Who is getting it? How many people getting it? It's not clear to me that there's a lot of Jamaicans that are even aware that these task forces exist. And this is why I said we need to improve our public relations. That's one of the areas that I need to emphasize, improve our public relations and get the word out.
Thank you. All right, so we have come to the end. Put your hands together for them. We're coming to the end of our first session. And already we are hearing that, you know, we have heard that the candidates are well versed. They know what they're talking about. They have an idea as to what is going on with the diaspora and the various machinery that are in the diaspora. And we want to move very quickly as we move. We are going against the time to section 2. And we want to now look a little bit at the candidates' vision and what they are planning and looking forward to if they are elected as advisory board members. So the first question we're going to ask is, what do you see as your role? What do you see as your role as the Diaspora Advisory Board member for the Northeast if you are elected? What do you see as your role? Ms. Maitland, go right ahead.
My role, as stated, very simply, is to be the mouthpiece of the diaspora. As in, I am advising the Minister of Foreign Affairs on issues and concerns affecting the Jamaican diaspora here. But in order for me to do that, that means I need to be out there in front of Jamaicans hearing what those issues and concerns are. And that's my role. Plain and simple.
Okay, thank you very much. Mrs. Largy.
I concur with Akila in that, the advisory board member is a mouthpiece, and so they have to get out there and let the community know that they have a go-to person. They have a go-to person that they can have discussions with, they can ask questions. And my role is also to find all the answers and also to let the powers to be, the appropriate powers to be in Kingston know this. They need to know what is happening here, what we're thinking, and how we feel. The relationship has got to be two-way, and the advisory board member must play a key role in making that relationship come about and exist.
Thank you very much. Dr. Lucan.
My role, as I see going forward, is one of unification. For the most part, Northeast is seen as New York, New York, and New York. And by extension, the Northeast, as I know it, involves, I think, 14 states, beginning far south as Washington, coming up and ending up in Maine. And my role, as I see it, is to unify by establishing subcommittees in these other areas that would feed in to me to make representations in its wholeness to the minister responsible in Jamaica.
Thank you. Time for rebuttal on those in that question. Ms. Lawrence Maitland, will you start?
No rebuttal.
No rebuttal. Yes.
I would have to disagree with Ron in terms of the diaspora, Northeast being New York, New York, New York. For whatever it was worth, the incumbent advisory board member had representatives in every state that could speak to and respond to in meetings about issues, events that were happening. Okay, I, because of that, was able to meet persons very active in the diaspora in other states. Yes, I don't know anybody in New Hampshire or Maine. Okay, but I do the other states outside the tri-state and further south. I had that opportunity, and I am going to use it. Okay, because I know people now.
Doctor.
I'm not in disagreement. My point is that there ought to be a regular sit down by the folks in the different states, in their different communities, coming up with resolve so that the Northeast representative would not forgetting, and I understand the incumbent, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of work. It will continue to be a lot of work. We need to have a more organized situation in the different states. And I have visited them all, to include New Hampshire and Maine and these places. So we have Jamaicans in just about all these places. But are they being heard? They feel no.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very exciting indeed. Interesting to see how the winner approaches that question in reality. Okay. Our next question then is, what is your vision? What is your vision as the Jamaica Diaspora Advisory Board member for the Northeast USA should you be elected? What would be your vision for the Northeast as a ABM if you are elected? Ms. Lawrence.
Sure. My vision, and it has always been a vision of mine, but starting and setting that trend with the Diaspora Northeast, modeling that from the Diaspora Northeast, because we're a large diaspora, right? We're twice the size of Jamaica. We're about the size of the population in Jamaica. And so for me, coming in as an advisory board member is to have, for us to begin to model what it means to be a viable, borderless, global Jamaican village, where every Jamaican, regardless of whether they were born in Jamaica or out of Jamaica, whether they're second, third, fourth generation Jamaicans, have a voice where they can contribute back to Jamaica, know that they're supported, know that they belong as community members. And so that's my vision, and beginning to model that in this role is certainly beginning to give them that voice, and certainly beginning to let them know you are a part of our community. If you're born in Jamaica, you don't lose your citizenship just because you become a citizen of America or UK or wherever, right? And if you're born in America and your parents and you have Jamaican heritage, go and look into your Jamaican citizenship. Simple actions that you can take, but regardless of that, there is an opportunity for you to give back. And so for me, it's for us to be a strong borderless global village, if you will, of Jamaicans that's very global in this modern age. And for me, a strong diaspora is a strong Jamaica. That's what, for me, again, a strong global village is about.
Thank you. Yes.
My vision includes an educated diaspora. And I say educated in diaspora affairs. We have a lot of persons in our community that they think the diaspora is an organization, and they want to know who's the president, and if you have to pay dues. And it sounded like, it sounded ridiculous, but there are persons who believe that. And I want to see, when that question is asked, somebody else in the diaspora can answer it. It doesn't always have to be the advisory board member. And thus, being educated gives them that opportunity to be able to determine where it is that they can put their one-man cocoa, okay, as a unified diaspora community. And I have to echo Akilia, is that a strong diaspora is a strong Jamaica.
Thank you. Dr. Eugene.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. For me, my vision is that when I would have completed the term, the name, the diaspora, will be second nature. Everybody would know when you say diaspora, you mean Jamaicans abroad. And the support and the energy that I would put into making sure that our voices be heard by the powers that be in Jamaica. At the end of my tenure, you would have been satisfied that, yes, this board is a board to be reckoned with and to be listened to. Because right now, is a feeling of most of us that we only speaking with a puffer here in a lot of areas. And to take away the feeling that the diaspora board is political. Because the word is out there that is either, I wonder if it's JP or PAP, and this is a non-partitional situation. It's Jamaicans abroad trying to do the best for their Jamaicans. And that is my goal.
Okay.
To make Jamaica and Jamaicans in the diaspora understand that they are a part of their own land and support it wholeheartedly.
Thank you very much. Let me just pause to say again thank you to the Jamaica Diaspora Show and Mr. Mark Milward for allowing us to have this debate sponsored by the Jamaica Diaspora Northeast Election Committee. Thank you so much, and let me also again thank everyone for being here to support these candidates as they outline their platform. Come on, put your hands together again. We really do appreciate your work here in the diaspora. We would like now to have the rebuttals on that response. We're going to ask Ms. Lawrence Maitland to go ahead and give her rebuttal on the matter of vision.
Sure. Look, certainly Jamaicans need to know this word diaspora because that's the latest word we're using, right? Overseas Jamaican, foreigner, immigrants, whatever you want to call it now, right? And, certainly we need to make sure that Jamaicans are educated. I think the point here and some of the theme you hear coming out of this is how are we connected, regardless of the latest word we use to define this movement. And that for me is where we need to go. It's how do we connect with Jamaicans so they know we exist to represent them.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not ready to rebut my colleague's position.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Nixon.
It seems that we are on the same page. Turn the page. It's a question of how we sell the product. And this is why I prefaced my opening remarks by saying it is important to better our public relations and to let folks know that the diaspora board exists and that there's a vote. And this is why I indicated that we need to set up the mechanism that people know that there is a diaspora board and that the diaspora board represents them as Jamaicans taking their views and concerns back to the island of Jamaica.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, we want to, in this issue of vision, turn our attention to Jamaica itself. Much of what we have been doing has been surrounding the diaspora, those outside of Jamaica. What do you see as the top 3 concerns driving the focus of the current Jamaican government? What do you see as the top 3 concerns driving the focus of the Jamaican government? And Ms. Lawrence Maitland, we're going to invite you to begin with your answer.
Sure. So the beautiful thing about a rebuttal time is that I can use it for whatever I want, including expanding, not necessarily rebutting someone's vision. And a vision has to be at some point in time as a leader, our vision, not just my vision. And so it's important at some point in time that that's the narrative that we begin to set as we move forward. And part of that, again, yes, Jamaica's priority, economic development, education, and specific, and hearing from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, how do we engage specifically in relation to Jamaica, the diaspora, 2nd and 3rd generation, because immigration has been stabilizing over the years, and the concern is how are we connecting with our young people the future of Jamaica, right? And so I would say those are some of the main, looking at this conference and seeing some of the priorities that the government has put out there. It's certainly around economic development, investment, education is certainly one of those pieces, but the second and third generation and how do we begin to capitalize on those opportunities.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Lardy.
I have to admit that I need to spend more time listening to commentaries on what is going on in Jamaica. But based on what I do, because I read just about all the newspapers that are printed, and I listen to all the radio shows, and I believe that the top concerns that the government has at this time is definitely crime, is one of them. And economic growth includes the development and investment. More of us need to take charge of our island and help it in that respect. Yes, there is a thinking that the streets of the diaspora are paved with gold. And we all know that is not the case, but clearly our little saying about one cocoa is definitely one way to address and help.
Thank you. Dr. Ingleton.
Again, education, as I see it, has been a main focus. Not necessarily financed the way I would love to see it, but recently I sit down with the minister himself, who seemed to be very much abreast of the lack of attention, if I want to use that term, and the need for Jamaica to increase the classroom sizes. Not the classroom size, but the amount of schools that are in Jamaica, but there's a problem with financing. Crime is another area of major concern, hence the government needs to be supported in their efforts to stem crime. And also, how do we foster and increase our tourist spaces in Jamaica? Because that's a major employer of labor. And the unemployment situation is one of the main concerns, and I see that is one area that we could do a lot in that would enhance or in bringing down the unemployment rates.
Thank you. Can we have the rebuttals now? Ms. Lawrence Nathan, please go ahead. Passing again on rebuttal. Yes, Ms. Laurie.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused with Ron's determination that education, unless he means that educated persons will not commit crime, or educated persons have deep pockets to assist in the economic growth, development, and investment. I have to say that I think we were both privy to the conversation with the minister that Jamaica is handling education. They have the right thinking and they're on the right road.
Okay. Dr. Ingleton.
I am a bit startled that I'm even challenged in that area of education, because
it's about time.
Everyone can remember, at least in this room, not too long ago, the implementation of the literacy program, and that made a lot of inroads. But since, I would say, in the last 20 years, that's taken a backseat. So to know that this minister is putting some effort into getting more financing out of the budget to build schools and to train teachers. I am all for that, and this is why I am saying it's one of my concerns, because without an educated community, we're lost.
Thank you very much. So, our next question is going to be a follow-up question from the one that we just gave. Now, the role of the Diaspora Advisory Board member is to advise the Minister with responsibility for the Jamaican overseas community on issues relating to the diaspora. The question is, what is your view of the current level of interest of the Jamaican government in diaspora matters? What is your view of the current level of interest of the Jamaican government in diaspora matters?
As put out by the government, the diaspora is very important to Jamaica's development. Certainly, as a diaspora community, we have some concerns about how that is demonstrated. But the minister has been doing her roadshow, if you will, to get out to the diaspora community to engage us. But as far as Jamaica has articulated, the diaspora is important to its development. Again, though, you know, look, the government is an age-old system, right? It is a system, and in terms of our relationship with Jamaica as going into the conference is about partnership. And as partners, we have to then hold their foot to fire about that, us being their priority, us being a priority for them. And I think that's where it has been lacking. It's not so much whether that they've articulated whether or not we're important, but it's more so how do we organize ourselves as a community to hold them to that priority.
Okay, thank you very much.
The current government, the current administration was very vocal when they got into power, so to speak, about the role of the diaspora, the need for the diaspora, the respect for the diaspora. But I have to admit that, and I am trying to put myself in their shoes in terms of priority, is somewhere along the line I think something got lost. Okay, and I say this because I feel that they have a task to do, they have a job to do, okay, and we can't always, the diaspora can't always determine and tell them this is what we want. My point is, whatever it is that you decide to do, tell us. Tell us. Okay, if we don't like it, we can love it, or we can rebut. But I found that lacking over the times, over the past year. I have found that lacking, and that's why I'm going to be at the conference.
Right. Okay, Dr. Ingleton, tell us, sir, what you think.
I have to applaud the minister responsible for diaspora affairs for doing a roadshow. But whether or not it is the feeling of in the other areas, the other ministries, that the diaspora is important, they are not showing it. I've been to Jamaica so often, and when you speak about the diaspora conference, what is that? And I'm talking about people in government at high level. The diaspora conferences, to me, it has not been fed to all the ministers that is important, that they recognize that the diaspora is important to the development of Jamaica. There are a few ministers isolated that have shown interest, and it is noticeable when I attend diaspora conferences. You know, there's just 3 or 4 ministers that even show up, and away from the Prime Minister or the Governor General coming to address the conference. The Minister of Youth might be the only one, and the Minister of Education, I don't see anybody else. And to some extent, Minister of Tourism. What about agriculture? What about mining? What in all these areas? So, and when you speak to people, folks in the streets, even the ministers themselves, I didn't know that they asked for board exists.
Okay. Yes, so we'd like to hear rebuttals on those comments at this moment. Ms. Lawrence, you can please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm attending the conference as well, absolutely. It's an expensive time of the year. Have to figure out how to get there. And because my money is worth something, I'm not just going to show up. I am going to help craft how I show up and how others that I may speak on behalf of show up to the conference. And that's why, look, they sent out the draft program, we have contentions about it, but sat down, write a proposal, consulted with others on how that proposal, what that proposal should look like, particularly for the youth forum. And again, followed up, and as I mentioned earlier, had 180 something responses to say, this is what we want. And again, it goes back to, I'm going to hold their foot to fire. If you say second and third generations are important, this is how we see second and third generations participating, and I have the backing of 180 something persons. Change that. Is either you take it or leave it, and thus far they've been responsive to that. So, again, it's how I show up on behalf of those who I represent, and holding that relationship again. If this is what you say is a priority in our relationship, I'm going to hold you to that, but I want to make sure that I have the backing of my constituents.
Thank you. Ms. Larkin.
Yeah, I am probably going to rebut myself.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, because I know what I said. On the other hand, we need to present our feelings or whatever you want to call it, make our proposal as Akeelia referred to, and stand up and let them know, hey, what happened? You're not talking to us. This is not what we like. We can't scream and carry on. We need to get back to them, and I think that's communication is important.
Okay. Dr. Ingleton, please go ahead with your rebuttal.
My rebuttal is that I disagree. I think we need to scream and make noise. Plenty noise. Because knowing my fellow Jamaicans, if you don't agitate, you don't get the results. And I feel that if we do not have strong influence over the minister that is responsible and make enough noise, then all the noise that we are making, the little that we are making, will be falling on his or her being minister here and not going to the front.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So we have come to the end of our second section. I am being prompted by my sponsors for a break, but I realize that one of our nominees has to catch a plane, and we don't want the individual to miss their plane. So I'm not so sure. I want to be guided by our sponsors on this one. If we are able to take a break. What says thou? You need 2 minutes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are voted to take a 2-minute, 3-minute break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Jamaica minutes.
There is refreshments outside if you want to start.
Okay, so this is why, so we normally go on a break because we get live, right? Let's look around and look at behind the scenes. And this is your opportunity. This is like to tell everybody to tune in, text your friends, trading business here. And then you're behind the scenes.
I thought maybe it was a swear. Oh, the women lawyers? I meant like the women that oh, that's nice.
Food, they order go eat.
flying is everyone flying JetBlue? Is it only JetBlue everybody flying now?
Fly Jamaica.
Oh, Fly Jamaica?
Maybe, I don't know.
JetBlue is like trying to take everything now. Everybody's flying JetBlue.
Yeah, because Jamaican airline has to do what it's supposed to be doing. And the customs.
I can take this.
Oh yeah, thank you. Look at some juice.
Pass it.
Oh no, it's alright. Just some water. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is live here. Take a look at the break. Ladies and gentlemen, you may ask what you've been watching. You've been watching my hands at work. Trading photos is here, and we'll be right back in a short while. But since this is live, there's no need to cut. We'll be back. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Still here? Yeah, it's working. Sorry, I was just testing. Yeah, so we'll be back. Just try to see if this thing got the focus. Is it focusing? We're trying to see if, yeah, this little camera focuses.
I need a favor. I don't know how long. I don't know. You still recording?
Yeah. Because
you don't turn it off.
No. So I have a 10 hour this thing. Yeah. Yeah. Turn it.
At some point, my close-ups, this camera is on. I don't know when it was.
Okay.
So can you give me a copy of your...
Alright, no problem. Because I do the live stream, so I'm not even doing professional as I usually do it. Because I was told to be the cheapest way possible. So the cheapest way possible really is to be like, you see, I never told you. I'm this is what keep me standing. I have one seat, like you drop like this. So I have this genre and this bone here. That's how I stand. So I do access something when I'm filming, but the name of budget so it's like I just say I'll just come and do it for transportation, that's it. But so that's why I bring my professional equipment. Now how I film, you're going to be able to get some good shots. Because sometimes I did. You see, sometimes I had it like this going from person to person.
I put it on every person. I got the wide shot on everybody. I got a wide shot on everybody, and then I just go from
okay.
But this wasn't. I don't know when.
You got the team on it.
I don't know
it happens. You know what it happens. I will tell you, when I just start using that, it happens in me. You have to be able to train your eye just to look at this like all the time. That don't red thing. It happened to me at one of the most important events.
This is an important.
Yeah, when I just started using it.
So,
I got a flash. Oh, okay, what is it?
We're ready.
You're gonna have to take a while to transfer when you finish. Alright. Take like 20 minutes to transfer.
Alright. Okay.
You know the audio gotta just sync. Okay, so we going back.
Sorry for that break.
I'm just making sure the hand focused.
By the way, I'm on the Economic Growth Council.
Oh yeah, it's focusing.
We know.
Yeah, see it focusing.
No, everybody don't know. She didn't know.
Thank you.
That's why I wanted to make sure he got these questions in, because there's some questions that's in front of the council right now.
Okay, again, behind the
That's in
scenes
front of the
stuff.
council right now.
And I ain't cut that. No, it's alright, I'm a vegan.
You're a vegan?
Yes.
So you don't eat content?
Okay,
Because they touch each other.
welcome back.
I appreciate it.
We are going into our third section of the debate. So far, it has been a robust interaction with the nominees really engaging the questions and showing us a little bit of what they are made of and vying for our support as the next advisory board member. We thank again the Jamaica Diaspora show and Mr. Mark Millward for allowing us to have this debate, by facilitating this debate, and we thank the JD&E Elections Committee, of which I'm chair, for sponsoring the debate. We are now going to look at diaspora development, and in fact, before we go to diaspora development, I'm told that there are two questions that have quite significant importance, or significance rather, that we should get into the debate, and I'm going to acquiesce. The question is, what do you think of the idea of an immigration card in lieu of a passport for Jamaicans living in the diaspora, whereby all the benefits of citizenship can be obtained except for voting privileges? What do you think of the idea of an immigration card in lieu of a passport for Jamaicans living in the diaspora, whereby all the benefits of citizenship can be obtained except voting privileges? And I'm told that this is something that is being recommended now by the Economic Growth Council, and it will be something that will come across the desk of an alien, and we want to know what would your response be.
Sure. So I have heard of the immigration card. The last news article that I saw on it was that they want to review the feasibility of the immigration card. One thing that comes immediately to mind for me, what is the purpose in changing out your passport, which is a CARICOM passport? What is the purpose? And how will that affect you having a CARICOM passport, right? The CARICOM passport allows you more freedom of movement across the region. And so I want to know what the impact of that would be. I don't have much details on it. I actually attempted to research it and couldn't find much details on it. It is good to know that we have an audience member that is a member of the council, and so I would want to follow up with Mr. Millward in getting more details, whether or not I'm an advisory board member, more details on that immigration card.
Thank you. Ms. Larkin.
Yes. I think an immigration card is a good thing, but not in lieu of the passport. The passport, as he explained, gives you freedom to travel throughout the region. The card wouldn't. What I like about the idea of a card is, I don't know if you know, but when we go to Jamaica as citizens of the United States, of the diaspora, okay, you pay a different amount of money to attend certain places in Jamaica. And that's not fair, because we are bringing more to the island by just being there than just that fee in order to enter the park or the beach or whatever. So I like the idea of an immigration card, but definitely not in lieu of. And I need to find out more about it.
Okay. Dr. Ingleton.
To say the least, I am very skeptical. I disagree with any immigration card, because it's actually going to be a duplication of a passport. And I see, if I can just pick individually my fellow Jamaicans sitting down, once we start having this immigration card, we're going to start have a piece of it. You talk about a difference in fees and charges, and have to identify. I think it's a separation of them and we. It's enough a challenge having a Jamaican passport, but for us separately now we get a card to identify yourself as we and them. I am totally against an immigration card, opposed to it up to the max.
Thank you very much. Rebuttal. I see, people gesticulating. Yes, differences right there.
Disagree, agree. Again, none of us at the table have the details to understand what the purpose of that immigration, it's fellow Jamaicans that have conceptualized this idea. And so I want to know more details around why, what's the purpose of this, again, immigration card. And if we have that opportunity for consultation, it could come down to, yes, this doesn't make sense for us. This is not what we want. And how do we make sure that when we're giving back that feedback, unlike in the past, that there is a representative number of Jamaicans that are responding back? Because I've seen agenda move forward, regardless of the feedback that past advisory board members have given on our behalf. But when you have numbers behind you, it's a different story. And so, you know, for me, I can't agree or disagree because, as we admitted here, we don't have the details to know why did you conceptualize this idea to begin with. Here's a fellow diaspora member who's saying, look, I'm a member of the Economic World Council. I, want to know what you think about this. So I want to know more. Tell me more about this and why you think it makes sense.
Thank you. Roberto?
I think that Ron makes a very good point, but at this time, I don't know that I know enough about the immigration card and what, if any, is the intent behind it. So I'm sitting on the fence right now. I think it's a great idea, but there's much more that I would need to know.
Yes, sir.
You see, Mr. Chairman, I have heard of the immigration card, and in the streets, the word is one more piece of paper we have to fill, and then there's going to have to go renew it after how much years. And if you go to Jamaica, you can't find your card, or it's going to be disenfranchised. Forget about it. We don't need another piece of paper. And the word in the street is that it's one more way of taxing us when we get to Jamaica in the future. We have enough of that, and we don't want to increase the aggravation for us for filling out forms and making sure when you go to Jamaica you have this card. What happens? If they're going to tell us when we come to Jamaica we don't have the immigration card, we can't turn around. Forget about it. I'm totally against it. And I will be very aggressive.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to remind the candidates, the question did ask for your thoughts. So, thoughts are not always predicated on knowledge. So you are free to express. Thank you. The debate is heating up. Yes, thank you very much. So, we want to quickly, we have two more questions in the category of diaspora development, and I want to get to these questions, and if I think we are almost out of time. The first question on the diaspora development for our nominees is, what are your recommendations to enhance the development of the diaspora movement in the Northeast? What are your recommendations to enhance the development of the diaspora movement in the Northeast?
I'll answer that question in this way. And, there are several points that the different nominees have mentioned, that people on the street have mentioned. Two things that stand out have to do with, people don't know that this board exists. People think that, hey, is this an organization? Can I join? What's the membership fee? As opposed to all Jamaicans living outside of Jamaica are, by nature of the word diaspora, members of the diaspora. But the second issue that has been coming up is the structure of the diaspora leadership. And I'm not just going to say advisory board, the diaspora leadership, whether it's in relation to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Because you have to have some form of infrastructure to hold what the work that we're going to be doing on behalf of diaspora. And I see this role not as a one-term role. And in answering that is that we need to have some form of strategic outline, plan, if you will, on the next 6 years. Whether or not I'm in position, I shouldn't have to come in and reinvent the wheel and do my own thing or what I think the role should be. There has to be some form of succession planning, careful transition planning. And so coming into this role, it's how do we build on? What has been working? What has not been working? Is the task forces the way to go? Is it not the way to go? What about sectors? If you now have task forces, how does that render the sectors relevant or not? What's going on here? And so there has to be some form of strategic plan for the next 5, 6, however many years to outline what is our direction so that when I leave, the work continues. We build on that work. Certainly I want to build on the current momentum that our current advisory board has been setting, but now it's time to really make it clear. This is the way forward. How are we going to implement some of these ideas that we have?
Thank you very much. Mrs. Larry?
The advisory board member needs support and structure and organization. And that is the only way to communicate and educate the community. There has to be regular, timely communications. The community needs to know when they can have information, where they can get the information. And to Achilles' point, it has to be put in effect so that it lasts for a while. Each advisory board member cannot just come in and change everything. That doesn't work. The continuity is a must. Okay, and that is what I feel is needed. The advisory board member has that challenge now to determine how to structure the community, how to structure the states, how to structure the sectors, and how do the task force fall in line, because the task forces are all global. They're not just for the Jamaica Diaspora Northeast. And so that is something that the advisory board member must reckon with. And we'll need discussion with past ABMs as well as Kingston.
Yes. Washington.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for me, I think the role of the diaspora representative is one that should be an accredited role, one that is recognized in Jamaica as being the mouthpiece of the folks here, the Jamaicans here, and here in the diaspora. And that we do play a very formalized role in the forward planning of Jamaica. And that we want to support, but give us the voice which we deserve to have. We're not asking, I don't think we're asking to dictate, but surely to be listened to. And I believe that coming out of having regular meetings, forums here in the Northeast and throughout the country, the ideas that flow out of here will be loud enough that the minister and ministers in Jamaica will have to listen and not play a deaf ears, as I think in most cases has been demonstrated over the last, my involvement and interacting with the folks in Jamaica. We need to integrate community leaders into the fold. Jamaicans are plenty. Jamaicans are plenty all over, and we need to get the word out. And this is why earlier I said public relations is very, very important.
Thank you very much, Dr. Newton. Okay, we're now going to rebuttal on that question, and remember that the question was, what are your recommendations to enhance the development of the diaspora movement in the Northeast? Rebuttals, please.
You know, Dr. Newton talked about being loud. You know, they say empty barrels make the most noise. And in order for us as a community not to be seen as making the most noise, just making loud noises, please visit joinakilia.com to see how I plan to approach this. My colleague has agreed in a sense, and I love the agreements and not too much rebuttals my way, that we need a plan going forward. We need a plan in approaching this issue to be taken as serious partners in this process. Whether it is that some of us will make some noise over there, some of us will sit at the table, but how are we going to pull these strategies together to be seen as serious partners in development? And that's my plan in making sure that the Northeast sets the tone and model how we go about doing that and starting with our strategic plan.
Thank you. Ms. Laurie.
I really don't have any rebuttals.
Okay.
Okay, because we're all, it seems like we're all on the same side.
Thank you. Mr. Dr. Ingleton.
I just want to point out that it's not noise like the sound system of which I spoke. When I refer to noise, I'm talking about the community as a voice, and when the numbers are listened to and heard, then whatever recommendations that come out that we are able to take to the ministers responsible for the different portfolios, right? It is heard and actions taken that will satisfy our concerns during the diaspora.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, very robust conversation there, almost resembling a further heating up of the debate. I love that. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, to get you to hear the face-off and the basic the various manifestos of the nominees. We want to move quickly to our final question for the evening. Our final question for the evening, still on the diaspora development. Should you be elected, what would be your 3 top priorities in your first 100 days of office? Should you be elected?
Executive
As
action.
ADM, what would be your 3 top priorities in your first 100 days
Executive action number 1.
of office? Of course, knowing fully well that we are on the heel of a conference. Knowing fully well that we are on the heel of a conference and you would be our representative at that conference. What would be your 3 top priorities?
Well, thanks for sharing. One of the first priority is how do we approach conference. We still need to have a Northeast conversation on how we're going to go into conference. We have yet to meet. Yes, there's been a draft program circulated, but my challenge to our current ABM is that we really need to pull our community together to talk about how we're going to enter conference. There are a lot of us who are not going because it's too costly, right? And people who are traditionally there are not going because, look, you know, that's Independence time. I would love to bring my kids to Jamaica with me, but it's just too much money and it's 2 weeks out from independence. And so certainly I think that's the first priority. It's us coming together, whether again I'm elected, as I've been doing, it's how do I make sure that the voice of those who are not going will be represented, and including the pushing for the use of technology. What about live streaming, as we're doing here, so that people can participate remotely as well. Secondly, of course, is the structure. That's immediate. You can't do real work and you can't hold that work without structure. So how do we pull in together, as our advisory boards have been doing? They have teams, they have committees, they have people that have been working with them. So how do we continue to do some of that, beef that up to really make sure that we're getting out there and getting to the different states? Because yes, there are people who have been complaining, and I hear that boy, it just seems like it's New Jersey, Connecticut, New York. So we certainly want to get out there with that. And a big piece of that is connected. And for me, with this campaign, it has been about that, is that at the end, win, lose or draw, although I'm in it to win it, I've set the tone about communicating and connecting. That it's not just the few. And so whatever tools are at my disposal, social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, however I'm going to get that message out there, I've accomplished something. I have accomplished something at the end of the day.
Thank you. Ms. Larkin.
Okay, the three top priorities, one of them is to visit every state, all 13 states. New York will be last. Yes, I want to get out there. I want them to know who I am, and I can know who is in these states. While I'm doing that, get a sort of sense of their thoughts on this diaspora situation, the diaspora, what do they know about it, and start my educating process at that time. As far as the conference, something tells me that by the time the ABN is announced, I'm not so sure how much time we have, but I will be giving it my best to reach out. It will be a bit late, I think, to engage a lot of persons to attend, but we could come up with some kind of a consensus or a newsletter or something where immediately we can start to communicate with each other and connect with each other. Because I think we need that. Okay, we are kind of like all over the place right now.
Thank you. Dr. Newton.
Well, my 90-day goal, my first 90 days goal, primarily is to attempt to visit all the states in the Northeast and have a town hall meeting. This way I get a feel of what is the feeling of my colleagues in all the states. Once I have achieved that, I would love to see us, or I would set up a secretariat that would be manned, not full-time, but to communicate that the diaspora at large will be able to reach out to. And more so that we have a dedicated telephone connection and the use of, and thirdly, the use of the social media to send out regular communique to the diaspora. And in essence, there's so much that I'd like to see happen in that 30 days, because we need to increase the number of people who are aware and is in contact with, in terms of using information. Using Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, all these different modules. We need to have everybody involved. This way more people can be aware of the existence of the diaspora.
Thank you. Okay, we will now have the rebuttal for that final question. Ms.
Sure. No rebuttal per se. I thank you for the affirmation and that what's happening right now as we speak is that people are texting me on WhatsApp and making their comments and feedback because they're watching, and I really thank folks for watching, and I thank you for the support, and I thank you for the feedback around how we're doing and responding to the questions that have come up. And one of that reminder is that Jamaica Diaspora Day is June 16th. And, again, in talking about how do we prepare for conference, maybe that's an opportune time for us to get together, whether it's in celebrating Jamaica Diaspora Day, but to talk about, again, how do we enter conference, because conference usually happens around that time. And, again, the affirmation coming from others for me is that my first 100 days start right now. Win, lose, or draw. So go to joinakelia.com and check out the work that we have already started doing. Because again, when Marcus Garvey, before he started UNIA, what I loved about his story is that he went around the different regions talking to the average person and connecting with the average person. I'm not waiting for that position. The position starts right now. And so check out the website. We've started that process of engagement of our community, connecting with our community. And, so certainly, again, thank you for the affirmation throughout. And, again, it's about how do we approach this together.
Okay.
Yes. what I said that I was going to do, the only difference, okay, I don't have a rebuttal. We all are on the same page. But I just want to expand a little bit, is that I've never been to the other state, all the other states, and I've been to the state, met their representatives, okay? But I have been doing it, and I continue to educate and share every opportunity that I have. And of course that will continue. I have a plan up my sleeve for Diaspora Day, despite the fact that the announcement comes so close to Diaspora Day. But it's worth a try. And I would just like to point out here is that Akili and I go back too far. We have spent many times in the in malls, in the food courts, planning the future of Jamaica and the diaspora. And therefore you might see a kindred link here, okay? We wish each other the best, okay? And Ron, hang in there.
Thank you. Marcel, 1 minute. Go ahead, sir.
Again, I'm not here to rebut. I'm just here to build. I want to say thanks to the planning committee for allowing us, and me in particular, the opportunity to debate the topics that so passionately I feel about my Jamaica, and hope that given the opportunity, I'll be able to represent my fellow Jamaicans in the diaspora in a very positive way. It's my intention to throw all my previous experiences. Many folks know me from the labor movement in Jamaica, and know of my ability to lead and to put forward representation on their behalf. Thanks again, Mr. Moderator, for your time. And thanks to the audience.
Okay. Put your hands together for the fantastic job. I would have liked to have gone into a closing remark section, but I think in those rebuttals, the rebuttals were indeed closing remarks, and that I appreciate. Again, we want to thank our sponsors, the Jamaica Diaspora Show, and Mr. Mark Millward and his team. We want to thank the technicians who are live streaming. I'm told that it is coming over very well. And I trust that you who are at home watching this debate have formed your own opinions as to who it is that will best represent us here in the Northeast. Jamaica has 3 million Jamaicans outside of Jamaica, and pretty much we definitely are highly potentialized to help Jamaica to become a first world country, economically and otherwise. And I believe if we can get the diaspora motivated and mobilized, strengthened to help Jamaica, it will be to our benefit, all our benefits, particularly those who are in Jamaica. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much, candidates, for allowing yourself to serve. We really appreciate you, and may the best man or woman. Oh, we have refreshments on sale. Yes, $50 party. Sorry, yes, refreshments outside. Please do not eat the food. Provided by. Oh, you're going to the fire.
Yeah, right now.
Okay, refreshment was provided by Pastor Wilson. And yes, we want to thank our current ABM for hosting us at our location. Thank you very much.
One more.
Oh yes, we have.
I seek your vote.
With the X.
Wish we had time for the audience, but.
Yes, yes.
Can we have your email addresses?
Okay, all the miles over there.
Your website?
Yeah,
You get a website.
Gotta go up to employers and get
Everybody else
for a website. Fire up.
I want to see Jamaica Diaspora.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not, I don't think it's in the
Okay, nobody wants it. They don't want to pay me $1 to maintain it, so they're dead.
Mark?
Yes, that falls itself in my 90
Listen,
You need to get country. That's going to Islam. You also have to take knowledge. That's lacking. The whole Middle East went down because of social media. Good?
yeah.
interview.
So it's 6.5 million. Let's work.
That's what I was wondering, is it
Easy code.
the boys' room?
They have more influence than us.
And then do one for your diaspora show.
I will.
Yeah, because the people want to hear
Starts
this.
now and
Right.
ends June 7th.
Right, it's really high for me, okay?
Yeah, if you want to see, anybody want to see the replay, just go to the it's going to be on replay. It's going to be on replay, definitely.
What?
You
Can you put it on here?
No.
There's
Right.
one
Yeah,
there.
there's a difference between a thumb drive and a backup drive. Thumb drive for only 3 gigs at a time.
You take it up.
Oh man, it depends, man.
3 gigs
So,
at a
you have some thumb drive with one.
Oh, you get the table?
This guy's 60,
No, not 60.
Terabyte.
Not 60. I mean, okay.
64.
You see the files in the camera?
You mean?
You have to break them up less than 3 gigs at a time. So even if your kid, even if it's 66, say that it's 60.
Everything I got on here, I can put on
You
here.
just transfer it?
Yeah.
I'll transfer it. I'm just telling you, this camera don't break up the
Yeah,
file.
that's a favor for me.
You understand what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Even if you have even if that is 30 gigs, and what I have here is 10 gigs, if the file didn't break, right? Even if you chop, it don't hold a file like over 3 gigs at a time because the file is error. I want to show you.
All I want is your close-ups. I don't want the other
I want
stuff.
to take, but I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I just can't
I
explain.
probably don't.
Okay. Think about it. You have think about it, right? You have a barrel. Could hold 100, could hold a gallon. It have a small hole. And I'm trying to throw this in there. You know this is the barrel. It can't fit. It's the same thing with the file. When it's big, it can't go in at a time. You have to break up. You have to cut the file up to go in a small, to go in there because that's how it works. But I'll try it. I'm just telling you.
I don't know. When I shoot like everything, like this whole thing,
I'll do it right now.
it'll go on
I'll do
here.
it right now. But I'm just, that's probably a different type of drives then. But you know about the thumb drive thing. What would the thumb drive don't take?
That's how I take my files and I bring it to my student, and I give it to my engineer, and he does his editing. Like if you look on here, you'll see there's probably like 2 shows on here.
I want to do probably a special type.
Let me
Sorry, let me just. Cut. Just speaking Ebonics. Goodbye. Thank you. You watching Trading Photos. TradingPhotos. This was You are watching Trading Photos, TradingPhotos. This was filmed live here in Dumbo, in Brooklyn, New York, in the United States of America, USA. I can always. It was streamed live, but now you can watch a replay in Dumbo, in Brooklyn, under the Manhattan Bridge. Okay, let's try it. Sir, let me try it. I went through some crazy stuff with that. Oh, let me just stop this first. Sorry, stop this. Let me try it. You know that's not very big shit, right? But it's not very big fast, you know what? But I don't know.
I don't have the one.
It actually gates. But if your file go over 3 gauge, some people have go in and disable, someone could disable it without the glass. Right? So if a file is 8 gigs large, can you drag it on there? What time?
We got these on my.
Oh, right. What's the problem with this issue?
Now we do this issue. We have for big. What do you have on here?
Oh, so it's that. Let me just cut some.